Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Jade Phou on the line, and she is CEO over at Jade. Jade, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I feel so honored. Thank you.
All right, Jade, so we got some big stuff to talk about here today. So for those that have been listening to this series for a while now, you know I've been making all this noise and all this fuss about the Mega Mix Expo that's going to be taking place on March 12th and 13th over at Santa Anita Park in Arcadia, California. You can get tickets. You can learn more over at megamixexpo.com. I'll be there. I'll be doing some live podcast interviews and definitely making my rounds in the community. And Jade will be there as well. And correct me if I'm off here, you're responsible for and or curating the fashion show, correct? That's going to be happening?
Yes. It's going to be so much fun. It's something new. So I'm very excited to bring a different touch to the health and beauty section of the Mega Mix this year.
So come on, go further. Tell me about the vision for the show. Like, you got to give us the scoop.
Okay, well, the details, I've been working with a really great team so far that's kind of putting together a different experience when it comes to this Mega Mix. So for the health and beauty section, we have had designers, we have people who focus a lot on the market for women, and me being a designer, they've reached out and having done fashion shows, have asked me to help curate one for this event, not only to further display and market designers and other brands out there that are going to be at the Mega Mix, but also bring something different and, again, a whole different immersive experience for the guests that will be attending. So my line will actually be featured along with a couple others, and it's still a little surprise and something to look forward to, but I'm very excited to be a part of building this for them and really giving exposure to the different companies and designers that are going to be attending.
How did you originally get involved in fashion? Where did that start for you?
Well, funny, because I love fashion, I love clothes, and what really got me started was kind of burning my ships and deciding to chase after a vision I had. And right now with Jade, I'm just redefining how women get to experience fashion. Through my brand, I'm able to help create statement pieces that don't just look good, but also solve a problem for women, especially with jumpsuits. Most women who have worn a jumpsuit have been under the same struggle of experiencing what it's like to use a restroom. When you're going, you have to take it all off in order to go, and then you got to put it all back on. And, we've all been there where we've had to be naked in the stall wondering why has nobody fixed this problem yet. And so I decided to fix the problem. So it was actually something new. My background was definitely not in fashion, but it was actually in dance. And so through dance, I learned costume redesigning. So it was easier to change in and out of outfits quickly. And, I was like, well, why can't I just add a simple zipper here or there on something that is actually out there in fashion already that can help not only women on a day-to-day, but also thinking about like mothers and people who are in like wheelchairs and disabilities, making sure that solutions were accessible to everybody.
And now I just want to make sure I have this correct. So what we'll be seeing at the Mega Mix Expo, not putting you on the hook here, but we're going to see some of your pieces you mentioned, right?
Yes. My pieces will be on the runway.
Oh, cool. So we're going to see real time what you're talking about. This is so exciting. And it's the first year for this, as you mentioned, in terms of the fashion show. So how fun. And I don't know if you're able to talk about any other brands or any, but it's going to be a collaboration, as you mentioned. So there'll be some other brands there represented as well. Is that?
Yes. And a lot of them are a surprise. So I don't want to give that away.
I knew, but I had to try to ask the question anyway. You have to do what you have to do.
Yes. You got to shoot your shot. But yes, Unfortunately, I can't really show that just yet. We will have that posted out here soon, so make sure that everyone stays tuned and follows along, because we will continue to drop little snippets here of who will actually be attending.
What's the Jaded movement about? What's that all about?
Yes, so when I first started the business, the reason why everybody asked me, why did you name your company Jaded? What does that really mean? What is the Jaded movement? For me, what the Jaded movement actually is, when I started this company, I kind of did an inventory of my life and where I was at, and trying to figure out in what areas of my life was I feeling a little bored or not challenged enough, or I was lacking enthusiasm, and everything that the word Jaded defines. And I had recognized just kind of where I was at in my career, where I was at in my life, and where I felt with clothing. especially being in jumpsuits all the time. And so the Jaded movement was something that sparked a lot of conversation between me and a bunch of other people when it came to just picking their brains about, when you're running into a situation where you're feeling tired of your situation, right, or a circumstance that you're in, what do you do about it? There's a lot of people who will continue to sit in that, right? They'll dwell in this and they continue to settle. And then there's other people who decide to make a change, which then reacts to a spark of a movement or something better for their life. And so the Jaded movement really actually started when myself and a group of people were like, you know what, this is where we feel jaded. This is the change that we're going to make in our life, and this is how it's going to improve. So it kind of started this forward momentum of improvement and just more happiness and fulfillment in people's lives. And so that kind of stemmed into, okay, what other things can we improve, which led to the jumpsuits and turning it into a business. But the Jaded movement at its core has always been something to hopefully inspire and motivate people to understand that they have the ability to make the change to better their lives or make the change to get out of the situation that they feel stuck in, quote unquote.
And now I know you're newer to fashion, like what you mentioned, that this is your first brand for fashion, but I'm curious about just as an entrepreneur overall, have you had other entrepreneurial ventures in the past, or what's that look like for you? Was it in you all the time?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I think I was born ready to grow up and be my own boss. Growing up, I have always been very inspired and I just knew deep down that I was going to be my own boss. I knew that I was going to, I wanted to be in control of my life. I wanted to build out my dreams and I wanted to try to live a life with as little regret as possible, per se. And so starting off, when I first started my career, working career, I found myself attracted to a lot of these MLM or businesses that train you as an entrepreneur, right? You're going out, you're networking, you're building your circle, whatever you're selling, whatever you're trying to share. A lot of that really attracted me because I was in control of my destiny or my paycheck. It kept me in hunter mode all the time, which I loved.
Interesting.
And it's crazy because some people are like, why would you go through that? When you can just be comfortable and have a salary. And you know what? I've done both. I have done both multiple times where I would go from the entrepreneur life back to corporate life. And I'm like, no, this isn't for me. So I think deep down inside, my core has always known I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And along the way, I've done several different things, both in corporate and out of corporate, that have kind of shaped me to the person that I am today. And so with Jaded, burning all my ships and actually trying to make this movement and build this brand and solve this problem, it's different because it's something that's not out there right now. And so I'm learning how to, build my plane while I'm flying it at the same time, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
How important, or I should say, what role has your community or your support system played in this? Because I know for entrepreneurs going out there, especially with the new venture, right? I'm just picturing you're like, no, I want to start this clothing brand. And people are like, what do you mean? You don't have any background in it. We know you for doing A, B, C, or X, Y, Z. And what are you talking about? And then jumpsuits? Come on, what? How was that for you? I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes, because I'll tell you, when I went to become an entrepreneur, I didn't even know I was accidental entrepreneur. I didn't even know that's what I was doing, honestly. I tell people that all the time. They don't believe me. They think I'm being false humble. No, it's true. I didn't know. But anyway, what was that like for you? How was your support system? What happened when you told everybody, hey, I'm gonna go into fashion?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you tell someone you're going to fashion, most people, including my family, are like, cool, what job are you going to do? Is that retail? What does that really mean? But when you tell somebody you're going to start your own company, it's like, wait, what? Are you sure?
Did you hit the lottery, or what happened?
Yeah, right? You have zero experience in fashion. What are you doing? You know what? Honestly, because I think I have been so back and forth with entrepreneurship and corporate, my family has always been on this, ping pong of what are you doing? Yeah. And I think at first they probably thought, hey, this is going to fizzle out. Let's just let her do her thing. Whatever. We'll support you. It's just another one of the things she's into right now. But you know what? I think surprisingly, because before I did this, I was a business consultant in logistics and supply chain. And I was very successful at that. I loved it. I grew a lot of partnerships. I was around CEOs all the time. So I had this high level network and just mindset. And with that came good money. And so when I told my mom I was going to quit my job to do this, I was kind of expecting her to have her typical, are you sure? fear and kind of speech out of fear. I feel like a lot of the older generation will speak out of fear, and the more younger generation are like, well, I'm just going to do this now, especially with our culture. But she was actually really like, okay, if this is what you want to do and you have the money to like sit on and think about it and try it, then go for it. I think she's at this place now where she's realizing, as much as I'm her little girl, I'm an adult. And so
dang, wore her down. I'm a little sad.
you know.
Dang. Sorry, Mom. I'm just gonna throw that out there. She
really though, I'm really.
She wore you down. Go ahead. She was tired.
I'm telling you, I'm so back and forth. But you know, I think that's also another trait of an entrepreneur is sometimes you can't just sit in one thing. For me, I couldn't just stay in one box. I couldn't just be a master of one trade. I was always all over the place. But with that, I think that she's also gotten to a place of recognizing when you're young, you go after things and try not to live with so much regret, or like, if you want to try it, then try it. So back to your question, sorry. I think a lot of it was, okay, good luck, or hey, this might fizzle out. But my partner has been extremely supportive. My friends have been super supportive. The women that I speak to have been extremely supportive because they finally feel, and a lot of women, especially with jumpsuits, like we have accepted our fate when we wear it. Like, okay, we're going to get naked. This is just how it is. This is one of the true examples of beauty is pain, right? We're just going to be naked in the stalls. But to tell them, you know what, like I'm fixing this problem. I've tested this out. I'm making sure that this works. It's a big, oh my gosh, okay, like now I'll try jumpsuits again, or keep going. And so the outpouring of just support I've received since having created this product and getting it on the runways or in magazines and in front of people and on bodies, it's been great. Now we still have obviously a lot of room and to improve and to continue to grow, as we're still just scratching the surface. But as of right now, it has been exciting. It's been very supportive and empowering, I would say.
Amazing. Well, Jade, this is a lot of fun getting to know more about your story, your background, of course, the Jaded movement, and I'm excited to meet you in person at the Mega Mix Expo and to see your work and to see the show that you're curating. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And for everybody, again, that's going to be megamixexpo.com. Go pick up your tickets. You definitely want to catch the fashion show and everything else we're talking about here today. So that's going to be March 12th and 13th, megamixexpo.com. But Jade, if somebody wants to learn more about Jade and the Jaded movement, how do people follow up? How do they connect?
Yes. Well, we are on Instagram. You can follow us at Jaded Jumpsuits. And if you would like to shop, you can go to letsgetjaded.com and have access to all the clothes.
Fantastic. For everybody that's listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put links in the show notes so you can just click on the link and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day we're bringing you new content, new ideas, new stories, hopefully new inspiration that's going to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Jade, thanks again so much for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Looking forward to meeting you at Mega Mix.